How to preserve geraniums, fuchsias, or an oleander during the winter in a garage where a shed can provide light. First, you need to ensure they do not freeze in your garage or shed. If it is not heated, it is crucial to insulate it well. The first thing to consider. The second thing is to check that there is a little bit of light. It is not mandatory, but if there is some light, the natural daylight gives us additional advantages for successful preservation. And the third thing is that air is needed. It must be well ventilated. We are not in a pressure cooker. We risk rot. Now let's take care of our geraniums. If there is a lack of light, it will encourage a resting period. The plants will slowly fall asleep. So it's a bit unfortunate because they look nice and green with beautiful foliage. If we leave it like this, it will be like endives. They will turn yellow. So what we are going to do is remove all the leaves, or practically all the leaves. So we will equip ourselves with pruning shears or a pair of scissors and do a thorough cleaning. If there are any yellow leaves, we carefully and thoroughly remove them, as they may spread. It is mainly a source of future diseases and rots, specifically botrytis, so it is a fungus. Here we have a zonal geranium with variegated foliage. We can do exactly the same way. We will reduce it. In principle, they are even easier to preserve. We remove the leaves. There are a few at the bottom, same thing. We also take the opportunity to remove the dried wood. So as we can see, it is wilted. Therefore, let's proceed with our good cleaning. We have now finished the big cleanup of our geraniums. Watering will be almost non-existent during the winter period. We will water once, twice, or at most 3 times. It was placed as close to a window as possible, and then next spring we will be able to bring them out again. In the meantime, there will be some yellow leaves and some young branches that will appear. At that point, they will be pruned in such a way that there is no botrytis. There is also another method to preserve geraniums. It is an old method, which involves suspending them by their roots. Air will circulate around them. From time to time we can even mist them with a little water. This winter, if they are very dry, and in the spring they are replanted directly in pots or in the ground. So, it must be admitted, this technique is practical. However, there are always a few more losses. Fuchsias can also be stored in a shed or in a dimly lit or unlit garage. For this we will use a pot and put a little sand at the bottom. We are talking about fuchsias grown in the ground. These are frost-sensitive varieties that freeze. They cannot be left outside during the winter, especially in cold regions. Therefore, a little sand at the bottom of the pot. We will cover them with sand on top, as you are exactly at a repotting stage right now, at this moment. Once we have repotted our fuchsia, if we leave it like that, the leaves will rot. We will trim them with pruning shears. And then we will keep them dry. This will be their resting period throughout the entire winter. Next spring, we will water them. They will start to come back, and you will be able to replant them directly in the ground. We are done with the fuchsias. Another plant can be kept in a shed or garage. Temperatures approach 0 is oleander. The oleanders that you will put into a resting period, since you will water them very little, should simply have the root ball kept slightly moist. In the next spring, when they start to grow again, you can then cut the branches warm and they will regrow from the base, knowing that oleanders bloom on the wood of the year. This shows that under a shed or in a garage, it is also possible to keep plants if one does not have a veranda or a greenhouse.